I feel as if this summer, in general, or ever since like I know exactly when, ever since May 14th, when I got very ill and I had my surgery for my dog and everything. Ever since then, I feel like I haven't really breathed, had a breather, and I'll explain what that means. Because it doesn't mean that I don't feel like I want to stream. No, quite the opposite. Look, when I stream, is my off time. I find myself being so busy all the time when I'm not streaming. And since May 14, it's just been a constant like do thing. Like I've been, I had my dog had very serious illness, and she's fine now. But there was a lot of stress and pressure, a lot of things, a lot of veterinarian things. You all know about this. And last week, when we were streaming, I told you guys that I got the message from my mother that my grandmother is dying. Like she's very bad. She'd got very, very ill, very sudden. Not that it was like sudden per se, because she kind of she had a big heart attack last year, and and then things got rapidly worse. That's how you say it, I think. And then that was last week. That was on, I think, Sunday last week, so like a week from now. In between that, I had my family visiting for 3 weeks, or no, 2 weeks, and then I had my friend visiting for a week, which was I was quite calm during the week. But I think when you're a streamer and a game developer, designer, whatever, mod pack developer, designer, and you run a large community, whenever I have even when I have like a gaming week with a friend, and you're not even playing Minecraft, you're just playing something completely different, it's not like my mind stops. You know what I mean, Dylan? Like I'm constantly like just thinking about what I gotta do, what I want to do, all of these things. And so anyway, yeah. So everything sort of. I got ill in May. Then my dog had this surgery period, which was like spanned from 19th of May till she got operated on the 9th of June, and then I had to give her medicines for 2 weeks, and then my family arrived right on top of that, and it was great. It was good times, but it was just a lot of things. And then last week was supposed to be like one of the first weeks where it was just calm, and then I get the message about my grandmother from my mom. On top of all of this, we want to release update 19. We want to finish the game, and the small Reddit comments, I know that they are very few, but the small comments on Discord and on Reddit, they really get to me, because I really want to do the best I possibly can for you guys. So when someone says like, oh, of course it got delayed, oh, of course, yeah, I expected, oh, it's iskall, who cares, no one cares about him, he's an idiot, oh, all of these things, all of these small comments that I know full well are minority, they very quickly get to my heart, and I just feel like even more pressured by these little guys to just deliver and to make the best I possibly can, because that's what it's all about. We want to make the absolute best we possibly can, and trust me guys, update 19 is incredible. And so anyway, yeah, on top of this, I'm a terrible planner. I'm a terrible planner, terrible organizer. So on top of things happening that I'm not prepared to happen, like that are out of my control, I'm also very bad at planning. I'm also very much overpromising and like feeling like, gotta go, passion, all of this stuff, which I love. And I wouldn't have it any other way. But it is a weakness. It's something that I'm really bad at. And I think that's fine. I think that's, I'd rather have it that way than for me to be that one of those people who like don't do anything. So come last week, right? And on Sunday I get the news that my grandmother is all of a sudden go way worse. And my mom says basically on the phone, and I think I spoke about this on my stream, she says basically like, you should come here because she will probably die soon, and you should say goodbye. And as I said on my stream, like I took the decision not to go, because it's like a long drive. It's like 3 hours 20 minutes one way, and I didn't want to see her that way. Like I didn't want to see her very weak. My grandmother means a lot to me. She's been like one of the biggest people in my life. Honestly, like she's always been there for me throughout like my young childhood and everything. Like she's always been there, always been able to call. She taught me like values in life. She was a teacher, but on the side she worked with charities. She would take refugees. Like this is a woman that's 88 years old, and she would take on refugees like in the 60s and 70s. You always hear this, like someone is slightly racist, and the excuse is usually, well, they're old. You know what I'm talking about, Tilly. You've probably heard that. Well, they're old. They don't understand. But no, my grandmother is 88 years old, and she was always like, traveling to like places in Africa, and she taught me all of that. She brought that on to me to feel like the most important thing in the world is that every human being is equally worth, and that we shouldn't be so judgmental, and we should try and help each other all the time. She taught me that there's no thing richer than a friend catching you when you fall, and there's no thing more vile and evil than a friend not being a friend when you needed them to be a friend. She kind of taught me that and kind of made that my entire persona. And so I said to you guys, I'm not going to go. Like, I don't want to see her this way. And that was like Tuesday. On Wednesday, we had a stream. Right after my stream, my younger brother calls me. I have several brothers. One of them calls me and he says, look, Iskall, I want to go and see grandmother, but I can't go alone. I'm going to need your support. I'm going to need you to come with me to be my big brother tomorrow morning. And here's the plan. I'm going to come to your house. We're going to drive down there together. And I need you to be there, to be my big brother. And, you know, he's like 37 years old. He's like a grown-ass man. And he's he's got a manly man job. And I was like, I'm sorry, dude, I gotta work. Like, we got this big patch coming out this Sunday. We got tons of stuff to do. He's like, don't be stupid. Like, I understand this is hard, but you gotta come with me. And I laid in bed on Wednesday, and I thought to myself, you know what? Here's the thing. My grandmother might want to see me, but she can't come and see me because she is in her deathbed, and my brother needs me. Yeah, I texted my brother that we'll go. So on Thursday, early morning, we left for my grandmother's house because she was at home, like in a hospital bed in her home. And we drove down, and the amount of thoughts and like memories we talked about in the car in the 3.5 hours or so. I think it took a little bit longer than 3.5 hours because like we were driving pretty slow. You know, we were coping, like we were stopping in places and stuff. And we go in, and like I take a deep breath, you know, as I open the door. And I've opened this door many times. She's always lived in this house. I've opened this door many times in my life, and it's always been with happiness before. This time it wasn't. And like I in Swedish it's called that you making yourself out of steel, stålsätter. I did that before I opened the door, and I walked in, and I walked down the corridor. My grandmother was laying in this room, and she was laying there like on her back. She was looking very weak, etc., etc. And then my brother says, "Hello, Grandma," and I say, "Hello, Grandma," and she opens her eyes and says, "Hello, Iskall." Well, she says my real name, but you know what I mean. And my mother was there, and her sisters, and they said she hasn't opened her eyes for 2 days. And then I sat there and I talked with her, and we talked about nothing really, but like she was smiling. She didn't have much energy. She said probably like 5 words in the entire time I was there for like 2 hours, 3 hours. And but she was smiling and stuff like this. It was so weird, And eventually, she was gonna get like her morphine shot of the day, I suppose. And my mom said, "Okay, well you can go now because she's gonna be sleeping the rest of the day and the evening. And I know you're busy." And I was like, "Okay, well we'll go." And so I said to her, "I'm leaving now." And I didn't say we'll see you later or bye or anything. I just said we're leaving now. And then she replied again and said, "Okay, yeah." She said, "Hello, hello," which in Swedish can also insinuate goodbye if you say hello twice. So she went, "Hello, hello, Iskall," and then she smiled, and then we went. As I left the house, it was the hardest thing I've ever done, or one of the hardest things I've ever done. And me and my brother was just talking and realizing that we'll never go back there. And I said to him, I said, I think she's gonna die tonight or tomorrow, and she did. She died on Friday morning or Friday lunch. To anyone ever faced with this decision, like to go or not go, like I was completely anti it. I've done it once before and it didn't serve me any good. It did me worse to go and see that person. But my grandmother was much closer to me than I thought when I said on stream last week that I'm not going to go see her. And she's meant so much to me and my brothers, and she's shown me the value of equality, of that every human being is equal worth, and that all of these other haters and little toxic human beings that never do anything good for the world, they're just negative, they're just angry, they like to reputation destroy, they love to just destroy other things to build themselves up. All of these human beings, they're not adding anything to this world. My grandmother definitely added something to the world. She was an inspiration for so many. She taught for like 40 something years, which I could never do, you know, teaching iskall, imagine. And she traveled the world, and she like really helped out in places where it was needed. I'm so grateful to have had her as my grandmother, and still do in a way in my memory. And she meant a lot more than I thought. So to anyone who's ever like considered, you know, should I go? They're on their deathbed. Should I go? I don't think I understood it last week. I think I do now. It was really tough. It was horrible. But at the same time, it was one of the best things I've ever done. And not so much maybe for her sake, but for my sake as well. And yeah, I'm very, very happy that I went. I feel very at peace. But I've had a very hard time focusing. And then on Saturday, I had to do what I call a practical trip, because there's a lot of practicalities that happen when something like this happens, when you're a tight-knit, you know, little family, and you lose one of the, like the hub, the core of the family, you know? So that's where we are at, okay? The boys, the team, has been working their asses off, and I haven't really been around since I streamed on Wednesday. Not that much. I mean, look, when I got home yesterday, I'd been driving for 7 hours yesterday. I was gone for 9 hours. I drove 7 out of those hours. And when I got home at 9 o'clock, I sat and wrote Jason and wrote quests for Vault Hunters till 1 a.m. And then I fell asleep. I fell asleep with my keyboard. All of this is to try and like always make sure we do the best we can. One thing that I did yesterday, that I thought was very important, was that I wanted to, in my way, in my nerdy gamer way, honor my grandmother. And update 19 therefore features a new unique that carries my grandmother's name, and is probably the best chestplate in the entire game. This unique was not planned, but big shout out and thanks to Exploding Dice, who made this model for me very quickly. I designed a new chestplate that you can find in the X-Mark room in update 19. It's called Anne-Marie, and yeah, it looks pretty amazing. I love it. Her favorite color was red, which is really weird, but her favorite color was red. And here's the chestplate. I think it's the best chestplate in the entire game. And so, yeah, it has armor, crit hit resistance, and ability power as implicits. It has health and armor as prefixes, and then it has levels to group heal. So it can have 6 levels to group heal. And then it has lowers the cooldown of group heal by X%, between 25 and 75%. And then the big thing. Revives you instantly and heals you fully if you die inside a vault. This effect can occur 3 times per vault. And yeah, it carries her name, and I think that it's, you know, it's something that I can do in my little corner of the world. And yeah, here's the message, the flavor as well. Let the great Anne-Marie watch over you, always having you back. Because I feel like that is what she taught me that was most valuable. Look out for each other, look after each other, take care of your friends. If a friend ever falls, if a friend ever steps on a mine, be there and support them. Don't abandon them because someone else might abandon you. Be there for them, because so many people needs that. But yeah, I made sure, and thanks to big shout out to Josh as well, who helped me write the custom modifier for me very quickly, and Exploding Dice making the model. You know, I think it's cool. It's like a Phoenix chestplate. I wanted to make it work also if you don't have this, you know, background story of the chestplate. But I do think it's the best chestplate in the game. Probably the best chestplate in the game, and so I thought it was fitting. Guys, you know, I've got a lot of thoughts in my brain. I've had a foggy brain and got issues like concentrating and stuff in the past few days, because a lot of things like comes up. And so anyway, with that in mind, here's what I also did. I immediately, on the Wednesday night, right after my stream, I sort of delayed Season 2 of Companions. I basically felt like it was affecting the least people. Even though that a lot of Dylans have been playing and we have 6,000 companions, it doesn't compare to the 40,000 or so members in the Vault Hunters official that are downloading the new update. So basically I delayed Season 2 of Companions, and I don't know when it will be done. It is almost done, but there's a bit of polish that needs to be done. I haven't looked at it since Wednesday night. And then all the hours that I had, I spent on update 19, which was supposed to be released today. But I don't want to release it today. And here's the crazy thing. It's not because it's not done. I think it's pretty much done. With my grind last night, the grind this morning, because I've started today. I started at like 7:50 today, and I just stopped. Like, I just stopped to stream. And the boys have been absolutely incredibly grinding. Incredible they've been. But I feel like I want to give it a day or two. I want to have a chance. And forgive me if I'm delaying and being annoying. But I want to have a chance to sit down and enjoy what we have done and make sure that I touch every aspect of it, because it has been the majority of my life outside streaming while I haven't been busy doing other things. Like, family stuff and things. And so that's my decision. And here's another thing. Like, we're nearing the end of Vault Hunters 3rd edition. Like, we are. This is the first phase of the last update. You guys know this. Like this is the first phase of the last update. You know, this is gonna make me sound super old. And I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I can imagine. It's kind of like I'm having a 17-year-old who's about to turn 18 and who's about to go out in the big world. And I'm like shitting myself. I'm like, damn, did I teach him everything? Like, did I teach him this? Did I teach him that? Did I teach him that? You know, I just need to make sure, because this will be the last we ever do with Vault Hunters 3rd edition. Basically, I'm like, I'm at the very end, and I'm like actually pooping myself, thinking like, what did I forget? What do I need to add? And so that's where I'm at, and that's why I'm kind of I'm kind of this curling mum right now, that's like holding on for dear life and making sure that, like, okay, come on, gotta make sure that everything is in, everything is good, because I won't be able to do it again. But yeah, let me just wrap the whole grandmother thing and everything. What I mean to say is, I feel like I haven't had a breather since like 14th of May. And the only time I feel like I've kind of been chilled is when I've been streaming. Ironically enough, it's probably going to be like that for a little bit longer for me. And when I say a little bit longer, I always do this. I always underestimate things. I feel like I'm probably going to be pretty like locked up in things. And now I have to help out with some practical things. It's not like I feel like I have to, like I want to. Funeral arrangements, all of these things, right? And so, I'm just going to be honest and say that we're going to continue to ad hoc this summer. And probably for the next 4 or 5 weeks, I'm going to be pretty busy, and I'm going to be pretty, on and off. And it is what it is. I think it's better to be, I got to enjoy this. I don't want to like force it, because then what's the point? I might just well take an office work again. And I love being here, but I love having the freedom of being able to, like, when my mom calls, of basically being a retired pensionist, to say, of course I can help you. You know what I mean? And I hope that's okay with everyone.